Hi, everybody. This is the Golden Truth Raw and Real, and this is Linda Summers. Welcome.
And this is Sharon. Andrea, welcome, welcome.
We greatly appreciate you guys being here. We were supposed to be at 8 o'clock, but we had major interferences trying to stop the truth, Sharon, from speaking what's really going on here. So we're going to dive right in because we don't have too much time because we've been still trying to get her on here, but we finally did. So thank you again for joining us tonight and for everybody who'll be joining us after this as well. So we're going to continue the conversation of Love Consciousness Part 3 about the journey to self-love and what that means. There's an awakening. There's a lot of intense energies that are happening this weekend, and Sharon's going to talk about that. So let's talk about, there's June 2nd, Sharon, there's June 11th.
It's more like June 11th. I had a transmission that came through to me.
Welcome, sorry, welcome David back. We appreciate you having here. Appreciate you being here.
Yes, David, welcome back. We apologize. And you see me twice because I had to do it through my cell phone and everything, etc., etc. So we're not allowing anything to stop us from delivering the messages. Yes.
Sounds good.
Sounds fantastic. So anyway, we were talking about the fact that I had some frequencies that are usually coming in through to me every new moon and full moon. And this is in regard to the summer solstice, full moon, and also the fact that there's that energy wave that's also coming in to do with the ascension of the planet. And then, of course, it's Father's Day this weekend as well. So everything is like combining together, to assist us for everything to do with the ascension, the awakening, and everything. So there were some tones that were coming through to me and things that were revealed to me to do with, what is happening for us with our bodies. A lot of us are going, with a lot of ascension symptoms. And one of the major things that came through to me is especially the emphasis to do with the solstice with the sun, because that's the longest day of the year. And that's when the sun is going to be shining the brightest and the longest on Monday. And I think it's important that wherever you are to find out what time of the day that is, because when we allow ourselves to be connected to the sun and the light of the sun, it sends off rays. And those rays is what helps us a lot when it comes to knowledge, when it comes to power, and when it comes to, the wealth, the true wealth that's coming, through for us is very important. So I know, Linda, you had some questions you wanted to ask me in regards to also what's coming up this weekend to prepare us.
Yeah, because we've got the new moon on Saturday, we've got Father's Day on Sunday, and of course we got the summer solstice on Monday. So what I was really kind of wondering, because there's all these intense energies of the some really big energies coming in because of all of that's happening, and plus I think there's a lot of planets, and I'm not sure where the planets are, but
yeah,
Sunday being Father's Day and being the masculine, I feel that has a lot to do because there's been a lot of more of the feminine have been rising and really coming forth to be recognized, and of course what we want is more of a harmony, balance between the masculine and feminine, as we have the yin and the yang as well within each one of us. So, and having that balance. So I'm just kind of wondering how with the new moon, Father's Day, and the solstice, how all of those energies, what that really means for us.
Okay, so one of the things it does mean for us too is as you said, the balancing of the feminine and the masculine, and that's the balancing of the feminine and the masculine within ourselves. So for the feminine, this is about nurturing yourselves and also, bringing back that power within you, because of the suppression of the feminine for such a very long time. The mere fact that it's Father's Day, this is also about what is your relationship with your masculine? What is the relationship with your fathers, your forefathers, your generational ancestors that's linked to your lineage to do with the masculine? How much healing have you done with yourself with that? Is there anything that you need to do with forgiveness and love when it comes to your father, your grandfather? So this is where things are going to be really coming up to the surface very powerfully this time to assist with those who are still stuck and not also, connecting to themselves Okay. This is also about those who are too much on one side, and as far as not tuning into their masculine as well and surrendering. That's another aspect of what's happening Father's Day this weekend. There's a lot of hurt and pain when it comes to fathers also. So this is really about healing and coming to that space and looking at the mirrors of anyone or anything that has taken place in history and throughout humanity when it comes to the patriarchy. That's another thing too, as well.
Well, did we also?
So it's important to look at this and look at yourselves with that.
Because didn't we also talk about? I know we had talked about before a couple of days or yesterday about how the masculine has also been pulled aside, so to speak, to let the feminine rise and kind of do the work on themselves. Is that what you're referring to?
Well, it's not just to say only with letting the feminine rise, but it's also about the masculine surrendering to the feminine aspect of himself, because anyone can embody the masculine or feminine. It's not just related to gender. Mm-hmm. And so what's happening is that the masculine is having to face death, okay? And it's not death by physical death, but in some cases it is. For those who are not, because the energy that is coming in is for those who are, whether they're awakened or they're unawakened, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be solely if you're awakened that this is affecting. So
but this is not just the masculine. We're talking about everybody in general right now.
Oh yeah, everyone in general. Yeah. But the major theme is masculinity. That's the thing. That's the difference. Okay, and so everything, especially centers around control, power, giving up. What else? This is about anything not wanting to face that has been to do with destruction. Even whatever has happened over the past week, to do with the power and control over weapons and massacres and all these things. That is a part of the process is what's taking place to awaken people, because the one thing that happens with human beings is that whenever they're faced with death, whenever they're faced with problems like that, or issues that's traumatic, that is also something that awakens people. So it's no coincidence that it happened so close to the summer solstice and the full moon. And so it's full moon in Sagittarius that is taking place, and it already has started. So it's not like it's going to happen on Saturday. It's already started. It's already in motion. And it still has to do with transformation that's taking place with all of us. An alchemical transformation that's taking place. So it's everything working together. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to say something because I think because I know you were sort of referring to the Orlando incident that happened. That's close to this whole weekend of energies. And so with that being said, David and I were talking earlier about how people are really naive and kind of in a bubble and not really aware of really what's happening out there. So I think this whole topic tonight is about the love consciousness part 3, about the self-love and taking that journey. And part of that journey is the awakening to realizing that there is a lot of things going on that we really need to start asking questions as to what is really going on here. All these things that are happening. And about the whole gun thing. I mean, if we want to take care of that, we get rid of the guns and do things like that. So.
And it's still an internal thing because it starts from working within the inside. And the other thing too, I forgot to mention is that what is happening too that people may not be aware of is that the pyramids are being activated all around. I'm telling you that. So because I'm very connected to Egypt, because I am Nefertiti from the past life reincarnated. And so what happened to me during that transmission is that I was hearing that the pyramids are activated. They're activated, and it plays a major role to do with the Nile River and what's being activated.
Summer solstice, correct?
That's correct, because that time of the year in Egypt, the sun rises at the highest peak, and then the Nile River starts to come up, and then it's like a flood. And then what that does is that also brings on the energy of the abundance, because that's what happened back then in Egypt, because I have a lot of memories of what happened back then. So it's an energy that's taking place already, because that's why whatever was coming out of me with those tones and codes is that I felt the energy of the pyramids. And then what I've also found out is that we play a major role with the pyramids as far as our bodies are. Okay, so that's why everything has been showing to me for the past several days of this alchemical thing that's taking place with ourselves. And there's a reason for it. So I am recommending, and the message I want to get out there is to allow yourself to meditate and align with the sun during that time on, through the weekend, especially on Monday, because the rays of the sun that comes through the light is the source of knowledge, recharging ourselves, the source of minerals for ourselves, for our bodies, healing, all of these things. It's extremely important. And that is also facilitating for us when it comes to aligning with our light bodies and our physical bodies, okay? Because this is why this is a part of the self-transformation and the self-love, because this is about how we are all really aligning ourselves with the spiritual body and the physical body. And connecting to the sun is what facilitates with that, and aligning ourselves with our consciousness with that as well.
Yeah, but I think it's also, too, where we also need to focus on what our dreams and our desires are as far as, because of the intense energies of really, I mean, the basis that we're trying, I think, really also saying is that the higher that we keep our frequency, the more that we are able to bring into existence the things that we desire, because we're at that higher frequency. And the only way to stay in that higher frequency is to raise our consciousness and think, of love, of joy, and be in those thoughts of that. So I think it's really important for everybody also to really be mindful of what they're thinking and what they're putting out there as well. All the time, but especially since all these energies have been really intense up until I heard September, but June and July are very
yes.
They're really intense.
That's right. You see, and the key thing is, it's not just raising your level of consciousness, but aligning yourself with everything. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's almost like the timing. Yeah, the timing of everything. So if the sun is going to be shining the brightest and the longest on the summer solstice, because the other thing that was shown to me is that all of the planetary systems are working together. So it doesn't matter anymore about the time you were born, the day you were born, or where you were born, all that stuff, because this is all the planets working together within us, because we make up the universe.
Right.
And that parts of our bodies that works together alchemically, the minerals, because we're also deficient with vitamin D and minerals of the body. And so what that does also, it also helps to raise our levels of consciousness as well. And so while that is happening, everything that you're putting out there to what you desire,
right,
to what you have dreamed of, that's what helps to align to bringing that into your space as far as your manifestation. You see, so that's what makes it, because this is what is the steps towards us coming back to the golden age.
Well, and I think too that there's a lot of people have been experiencing a lot of release, a lot of things that don't serve us anymore, because we're starting to bring stuff to the surface that we need to release. And so I think that's important too, to be able to recognize that all the stuff that doesn't serve us anymore is coming to the surface to be released.
Right. Well, and that's if they're not afraid to face themselves either, because, there's some who feel that they may not want to face it, and they're in fear, thinking that something is happening to them when that's not the case. So it's important to understand what is happening, to question things, to seek to know, because, the whole thing about us, who we are, as far as the human race and what we're made of, it's about knowledge. This is knowledge that's within ourselves. And this is about seeking to understand and putting all the pieces together to everything, to what is happening here and how it is helping you for the best, if you choose, because it's a choice.
Right.
It's a choice. Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned about the pyramids, and you mentioned about the Nile River. So, I mean, that's back in Egypt, right? So how is that in relationship with today? I mean, I know you said they're being activated, but what does that mean for us?
Okay, what it means for us, I'm going to give you a little synopsis. I also had channeled this information last year, June, also, around the same time when the memory was coming back to me. And the Nile River is within us. The Nile River flows through each and every one of us. And so what it is, it's an energy. and there's a representation of the river itself that's responding to us, okay, with love. This overflow that takes place is where, we're returning, and everything that we're connecting to the earth, and the earth and everything to life is responding to us as we are working through this transformation and the changes and not being resistant to it. You had mentioned to me earlier that you were speaking to a friend of yours that from Egypt, correct? Yes. And that you had asked her if anything was going on with the Nile River, and you said that nothing has been happening with it, and that's because everything. Mm-hmm. So this is about the death, the rebirth, okay? What is it that is to shed off of us? It's like in order for the new version and the higher version of yourself to come in, is that there's a death that has to take place, a dying. And so that dying is the old stuff, the things that don't serve you, the things that don't serve any of us anymore. Right. And so that flow and abundance that comes through with the Nile River, and also what the Spirit shows me now, it's like a purification. It's like a baptismal type of thing that's happening. Every time when Mother God is speaking through to me, it's like being in the washing machine and you're washing and cleansing. Now we know that back in those time frames with
she just froze.
It's an internal thing that is happening here. And as connect to this cleansing and flow that is happening just like the river is, then what's happening is that the scales are now tipping over to the other side, which is a representation of the earth and how it's tilting and shifting in polarity in conjunction to do with the summer solstice. And so the consciousness of lack and limitation, the consciousness of not enough, and the separation and all of these things is what is working its way out through all of us, the ones who are really working on themselves. I have to emphasize, this is about those who are truly working on themselves, okay? And then what happens is now the energies are now shifting here to stay centered, how we're in partnerships to bring the wealth together, individually and collectively, shifting within ourselves, connecting to each other, working together as a community, okay? And it can happen as quickly as we say, and you see what I'm saying? Because this is what this is all about. So it's an energetic thing, and I really truly feel that it's a physical thing that is also taking place. Something that's going to be happening to do with the Nile River, something or another, because it's working hand in hand with the pyramids being activated also, right? As well. It's almost like something that's been dormant for such a long time.
Right. Let me just see if David has a question. David, do you have a question or anything you want to add to this?
I would just say that we're all definitely on the same channel. Almost every word you've both spoken is absolutely true to me. I'm absolutely, I've heard much of what has been stated continually for the last few weeks. I'm receiving a lot of channeling. What's difficult for me as a man, I mean, I am very fortunate that I'm very balanced between masculine and feminine energy. And so I see myself as a leader in that way with a lot of other men, and I've seen all their struggles as they're becoming very strong. I've been able to connect to it very well, but many of the the patriarchal men that I'm around aren't. And I've been having a lot of male friends crash around me and blast out in anger lately. So anyway, I see that these type of transitions are needed. And I'm very excited to hear how your connection is so true to what I've already been hearing.
Yes.
So that's where I'm at with it. But I'm really enjoying what you're saying, and the Nile. I hear that in me, the love, of the Nile flowing within, the pyramids activating. I've been thinking of the pyramids lately. Obviously, they've been coming in, and so I feel that energy. I know that I'm being affected very, very strongly with this energy, and it has been a little difficult. But I mean, I'm amazed at myself constantly at how well I can transmute the energy and come out more or less on top. So so I'm very grateful to hear what's been said, and I've been taking notes and to carry the message.
Well, stay tuned because we're going to have more, but we're going to be cut off in about a minute because this Zoom just cuts us right off there. So thank you, David, so much for sharing that. And, you know, would love to have you join us again next week and, you know, tune in because we're going to continue the conversation about the Nile River and everything. So I just want to say thank you, everybody who's tuned in and who'll be tuning in afterwards. We will post this on YouTube. We'll talk to Sharon. We'll kind of decide if we're going to do this. But as far as we know, all the shows will be on YouTube. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Thank you both. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks. And thanks for your patience, too.